So in today's video, I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step strategy that I've used to rank dozens and dozens of clients and other websites, and give you the month-by-month playbook to do exactly what I do to get your clients ranked. So let's hop into my computer and get started.
So you want to be a rock superstar and live large, big house, 5 cars, you're in charge.
Okay, so we're here in my computer in the PowerPoint presentation of Extreme Awesomeness. And what we're going to be doing is walking you through my exact step-by-step process for ranking local SEO clients. Now, what do I mean by local clients? I mean someone that has a business that is looking to do business in a certain city or other geographical area. So if it was, I always use plumber as an example. So if it was a plumber in St. Louis, it would be, their goal would be things like St. Louis plumber, plumber St. Louis, plumber in St. Louis, and so on. So that's what I mean by a local client. This can also apply to national clients as well, but it's really ideal for local clients. So now that we got that out of the way, we're going to break it down into month by month, what I do the first month, second month, third month, and beyond, and give you the exact steps that I do that have worked well for me in ranking dozens and dozens of clients and sites. So I hope you enjoy. So month number 1, the first thing that we want to do is sign our client. We come up with a plan for the keywords that they're going to try to rank for. We get paid because we don't do anything until we get paid. And then the first thing we're going to do once we get access to everything is we're going to do the on page. Now, what do I mean by on page? This means the SEO on the site itself. So this is what a lot of people think SEO is, and this is only the first step, and it's probably the least important because even if you get this wrong, you can always change it and run a quick fetch and render, and you'll be fine. So the first thing you want to do is get the page title right. And I'm not going to go into detail on what you need to do exactly on all of these steps. You can always ask in the Facebook group or in the comments, but this is kind of the overview, and maybe we'll do a tutorial on on-page SEO at some point. But for now, we're just going to say we do get the on-page, we do the page title, the meta title, the meta description, the H tags, alt tags on the images, and a keyword in the text. And now, the keyword in the text is probably the one that people are going to get most hung up on. I try to do what makes sense as far as context in the content, but if I had to give you a number, it would be 1%. So, 1,000 words, you would do 10 times the keyword, maybe. Again, only if it makes like grammatical sense. So, and then I'll just cover some of the others. Alt tags on the images, I try to do one with the exact keywords, one for each of the exact keywords, and then the rest, if there's more than that, just have describe whatever's in the image, which is what alt tags are really for. H tags is an HTML thing. You want your exact keyword in at least one H1 tag, and then go from there. Meta description, you want your keyword in the meta description, but you also want a meta description that encourages people to click through to your site. Meta title, I like to start with my exact keyword and then put something, maybe the name of the brand, and sometimes the phone number, sometimes not, depends on the type of business. And the page title, I like to have be the exact keyword. So that's just a quick overview on what you want to do for the on-page SEO. And again, if you get any of that wrong, you can always go into Search Console and fetch and render on it. And just to be clear, we're talking about organic SEO for the most part here, organic listings. There's additional steps you would have to do to rank in maps, although a lot of what I'm going to talk about today will also help you rank in maps. So hold off on any Google My Business type questions or anything like that. This is all going to be about organic SEO. So the next step you want to do is create your foundational citations. These are the ones that every single business is going to have, that are important to have, because these create branded and URL links. Basically, it helps tell Google that you're a real business with a real location that's really wanting to attract customers and not just some sort of lead gen site or some other just crap site. It helps establish you as a business, which is really the key to this. It establishes you as a brand. Some of these include Yelp, Foursquare, and YP.com, but there's probably 15 to 20 what I call core citations. And if you Google those, you can find some great articles on which ones you need to have. And most services that you'll buy to get citations done will include the main ones anyway. So make sure you have all of those done. This is a great bottom of the foundation to set up your SEO campaign. The next thing we're going to set up is our social profiles. Now, you can set up a few hundred of these, but there's a handful I want you to set up personally, and that is a Facebook page, a Twitter profile, a YouTube, Google Plus, and Pinterest. Those are the main ones that you need to have right, because you're going to actually have those represent your business. The rest, you just like Tumblr, and if you just Google available social profiles, you'll find several hundred, and you can get these done for you as well, the rest of them done for you as well. But these also help establish that your site is a real business, a brand, and it builds some, even though they're no follow links in most cases, they're important authority and trust building links that you're going to send to your site to help, again, establish your site as a real business. And that's really the key to any of this type of SEO, is to establish yourself as a business. So the next thing you want to do is social signals. For those of you that don't know what social signals are, and a lot of you think you do and you don't, so check out this channel. There's a video that explains in depth on what a social signal is. I'll try to remember to link to it in the description, but basically a social signal is when your link is posted on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. That's not a social signal, but once that post is liked, shared, retweeted, +1, whatever it is on that particular network, that is a social signal. Now, what social signals do is tell Google that, hey, people are talking about this site. It's interesting. People must want to learn more about it, so we better reward it with improved search ranking. This is a really important part of the process, and it's something that you need to get right. So you find the right vendor or learn how to do it yourself, and so on. So the next one you want to do are Google Maps citations. And this is a kind of specific thing that Google has. It's where you can go in and create a map. It's kind of an advanced technique, but there are a lot of services out there that can do it for you. But you create a map in Google that will have information about your site, the name, address, phone number, and things like that. It can have it can have a pretty long article, actually. It can have a picture, a video, and you get a link directly from Google itself. These help with both map listings, and they help a lot with organic listings, and sometimes these will rank all by themselves. These are great foundational links that I really encourage any local site to make sure that you do 100 to 300 of these. So the next thing we want to do are just some miscellaneous white hat foundational links. Now, what do I mean by foundational links? Things like social bookmarks, which are sites like Dig and drawing a blank here, Instapaper and so on. You can get those done pretty easily. You want image sharing sites like Flickr, PhotoBucket, Instagram, and so on. Those are important to get links back to your site from high authority sites. I didn't include it here, but you can also do infographic sites. Those are really powerful white hat authority links. You can do presentation sites where you create a PowerPoint presentation, something similar to this, although yours won't be as awesome as this, and then upload those to sites like SlideShare and so on. There's a bunch of those out there that you can just Google. And you got video sharing sites, which also create high authority links back to your site, and you can upload a video there as well to help increase your branding. Those are things like Vimeo, Dailymotion. Those are the main ones other than YouTube that I can think of right now. And then you want niche relevant directories and citations. So what I mean by this is, again, using the plumber example, if there's a directory out there that has links just to plumber sites that you can list it so people can find plumbers, you want to get a link on there if it's within your budget, because some of those are going to charge. And the same thing with citations. There are citation directories that are for specific niches and locations. So Google those, use tools like Whitespark and others to compare what your competitor has and build those as well. And then the same kind of thing for location, except for it would be like, we'll continue using St. Louis example, lists of business in St. Louis and citations basically based out of St. Louis. These are harder to come by and it will take some time, but they're super powerful and they really help build it. That's pretty much all we do for month number one. Month number one is laying the foundation for what's going to become your brand and your site. A lot of times this will get you to page 4 or 5 all by itself, and depending on the competition and things like that and how well you optimize your page and what have you. So this is really, really important to get right. It's a lot of work, and it's the most work of any of the months that we're going to talk about, and a lot of it's really tedious. So if once you've done it yourself well enough to know how it works, you need to either find gigs to get it done or hire someone like a VA to do it. So because it is very time consuming, but it's super important that you get all of this right, at least in my experience. So that brings us to month number 2. Now, month number 2, we are once again going to do social signals, because you want to keep that interaction going and keep telling Google that people are talking about your site and it's interesting. And plus, it's important as long as you're doing other things, you want it to be getting traction on social. Otherwise, it's going to be like, yeah, Google's going to be like, yeah, it's doing all these things, but no one cares. So every month, you're going to want to do social signals. The next thing you want to do is a more advanced technique called a domain authority stack. Just to be clear, I pulled this image from a software called Money Robot. This isn't really an ideal diagram, but I wanted something that could kind of illustrate the concept. It's basically interlinking social and Web 2.0 properties, and thank you to Money Robot for having that there for me. So this I found this is a controversial technique in SEO because some people think it doesn't do any good. I've had pretty good experience doing it once per site. It seems to help increase the authority, and if nothing else, it's just another round of Web 2.0s and social profiles pointing to your site. It's basically passing the power from each one up to another one, up to another one, up to your site. So that is something that you're going to want to learn how to do yourself once, and then you're going to want to pass it off because it does take a ton of time. So hopefully that makes sense. The next thing I like to do in the second month is a press release. Now, a press release is probably not what traditional people in traditional businesses think of. It's where you can go to certain sites, put a release on there, and then have it distributed out to a few hundred news sites. These are great for creating branded and URL links back to your site, and it's really impressive to clients. So if you can, it helps with your SEO because it creates powerful links and it gets more link content out there. Although after a while, most of the distribution releases are going to get removed, but some of them will stay. These will rank all on their own sometimes, but like I said, it's also really nice to take look to your client and go, look, I got this report of all these 200 or whatever sites that I got you listed on. So that's just kind of a bonus to that. And then the next step is high authority relevant links. So these are things like the Chamber of Commerce. If your client is a member of the Chamber of Commerce, you want to have them sign up. You'll get a nice location and niche relevant link for that in most cases. Just search Chamber of Commerce in your city. Same thing with Better Business Bureau. And then the rest kind of depend on the type of client you have. So you have professional accreditation sites. So if it's a lawyer client and they're part of that state's bar, a lot of times they'll have a directory of everyone that's licensed in that state that gives a link back to that. And then you can put the badge if they give you one like from that site. It's a trust badge. Another one is high quality EDU sites. Now I'm not talking about where you go on Fiverr or Conquer or Legiit or whatever and buy a bunch of .edu links. Those are just not that great quality. I'm talking about if your client went to Harvard or even a lesser school and they let them create a profile on there. If you link back from that, that's a great high authority site that you can get a link from too. Another one that I don't have listed here is DMCA. DMCA is they protect you from getting your content ripped off and things like that. If you get their badge, you get a link back from their site, and that's really high authority. And I find that builds a lot of trust. Well, partner sites are like if your client works with other businesses in the area and they have like a links page on their site, those help really well. If they're not necessarily very easy to get, but if you can get one from an old site, it can really help a lot. So it's important that your client be a good reputable business person to help get other help from other businesses in the area. That's just a little off topic, but I think it's really important to make your competitors your friends because the benefits are much more so than if you just try to stomp them out. That's just me. And then there's donation links. These are sites where it's usually like a nonprofit, like maybe they created a software or something like that, where if you donate money to them, they'll give a link back to your site. These are pretty powerful. They can be pretty expensive, but if you look around, you can find some pretty good ones out there for a reasonable price. So that's pretty much it for month 2. What we've done within these 2 months, a lot of times will be enough to get you to the first page all on its own. What we've done now is we've built the foundation and now in the house. Now we just have to decorate it. So I hope that analogy makes sense. It does to me. If it doesn't to you, I apologize. So what we're going to do from month 3 and beyond is basically going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to do social signals. Again, we want to keep doing social signals because it shows that the site continues to get interest. This is, to me, has been super, super effective. So find a great gig for that out there or get your friends and family to do it yourself. But you want to do this, at least a package of these at least once a month to help keep your site interesting and relevant and what have you. The next thing we're going to do is guest posts. Now, what a guest post is someone that has a real blog or other type site that they update regularly, that's a real site that gets traffic and people interested in it. So you want to find ones in your industry, or at least like kind of close to your industry. It may be hard to find a plumber blog, but you might be able to find a business one and ask them to, you're going to have to pay them, but pay them to get a post on their site that links back to your site. These are probably the most powerful kinds of links. So a lot of times a good 5 of these will get you home all the way to the top of page 1 based on combined with everything else we've done. So these you're gonna you can manually outreach. You can find there's other sites out there that sell them, like Love2.link and some others, and then you can also get them on Conquer, Legiit, and Fiverr, and so on. So find a good process for these. Maybe hire a VA to do the outreach for you at whatever, but this is really the key to pushing you over the top. And then the last thing we're going to do is Pbn Links. Pbn stands for Private Blog Network, and this could be a course all unto itself, but basically it's a site that was a real website at one time, and then for whatever reason it has expired, the owner let it go, and then they've sold it, it's tried to sell it at auction, or they have sold it at auction to someone else, and then all the links going to that site are still there. So what you do is you rebuild that site either the way it used to look or as a blog, and you link out to sites that you want to rank, and they pass the power on to that site, and that really helps rank. This is probably the most important step, I would say, because it's the most reliable and most dependable way of ranking sites. Some people consider it black hat. It's really more gray hat than anything, but to me, it's the most important step and where you're going to get most of your power from. And you want to look for two things. And again, I'm not going to get too deep into this because it's a pretty deep topic, but there are two different types of Pbn links that I like to look for. There are relevant ones. So sites that used to be plumber sites, they may not have as much power, but they'll be relevant and they'll pass that on. And then there's, excuse me, power sites where they have a lot of good quote unquote metrics pointing to them, meaning a lot of strong links to them that give them a lot of power. And they may not be as relevant, but you can get those and point those to your site as well. So that's pretty much all there is to it. That's my exact process. You just create for month 3. You just keep doing month 3 over and over again until you rank, and you should be good. So let's do a quick recap. Month number 1, you're going to do your on-page SEO, page title, meta description, H tags, alt tags on your images, and keywords and text. You're going to do your foundational citations, which there's 15 to 20 of. That includes Yelp, Foursquare, and YP.com. You're going to create a few hundred social profiles. You are personally going to create Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and YouTube, and Google+. I think I left some of those out the first time. You're going to do social signals, which is a post of your link that is then shared, liked, retweeted, +1, and so on. You're going to create at least 100 Google Maps citations. You're going to create foundational white hat links, including social bookmarks, image sharing sites, presentation sites, video sharing sites, niche relevant directories and citation, and local relevant directories and citations. In month number 2, we're going to do social signals, which we just explained. We're going to do a domain authority stack, which is where you create more social profiles in Web 2.0s, link them all together to pass power up to your money site. You're going to do an online press release, and you're going to get high authority relevant links from the Chamber of Commerce, Better Business Bureau, professional accreditation sites, high quality EDU sites, partner sites, and donation links. Then in month number 3, we're going to go back and hit it with some more social signals to keep that juice flowing. Then we're going to do guest posts on real people's sites that have active blogs that get traffic. And then finally, we're going to do Pbn links, private blog network links, which you can either buy yourself or you can set up yourself. I recommend that you set them up yourself so you know what to look for and you have some assets in your business, but you can also buy them too. I certainly understand the appeal to that. So hopefully that helps for you. And this is the exact process I use for every single one of my clients. That's how I've ranked them successfully time and time and time again. I hope you found it useful. If you like videos like this, do me a favor and click the subscribe button below the video and then click the notification bell so you'll get notified every time that a new video drops. And I really do appreciate you watching. If you want, you can join our private Facebook mastermind. Just search for Superstar SEO on Facebook. Otherwise, I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great one.